Straight ahead on WBKB, the COVID-19 vaccine has arrived in Alpena.
Plus, Alpena Community Commissioners approve a new vehicle for seniors, and a former Michigan governor is tapped for a Biden cabinet position.
You're watching Thunder Bay News Network. WBKB News at 6 starts now.
This is WBKB News at 6. An in-depth look at news, weather, and sports. From hard-hitting news stories to local events, we're there with coverage you can count on. You're watching WBKB News at 6.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Tyler Cruz.
And I'm Sherry Stewart. Alpena's Mid-Michigan Health Center has received its first doses of the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine. We will have more on this tonight at 11 p.m.
And we have more news from Alpena's Mid-Michigan Health Center. The local hospital has officially passed the test and earned top marks in its latest patient safety scorecard. The report, conducted 2 times a year, grades hospitals on 27 metrics, including hand washing, patient falls, and infections in the blood, and more. The hospital scored above average in 19 categories, below average in 4 categories, and average in 2 categories. The hospital has improved its score since it received a C in the spring and fall of 2019. According to the report, the hospital has also made gains and now scores above average in its leadership and error prevention, and its communication about medicines with nurses and doctors.
Well, the Finance Committee of the Alpena County Board of Commissioners met early Wednesday via Zoom, where they voted to approve a transfer of funds that will help the seniors in our community. The committee discussed moving forward with the plans to transfer $8,000 of the older persons millage funds to the Senior Center from general funding to Meals on Wheels. The funds will help the Senior Center purchase a new all-wheel drive vehicle for their program. Committee members discussed why it's important.
They'll just concentrate on using that one all-wheel drive vehicle to county roads during snowy conditions or icy conditions like has been aforementioned.
If finalized, the funds to help with the purchase will come out of the county's 2020 budget.
Well, despite the Electoral College officially electing Joe Biden as president and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell confirming that, Michigan legislators have sent multiple cities election-related subpoenas. Clerks in Detroit and surrounding suburb Livonia have been subpoenaed for all information and communications relating to the November 3rd election. These subpoenas were issued following a 58-51 House vote in favor of giving the state legislature's oversight committee subpoena powers. The cities have until January 12th to turn information in to the committee's chairman. Well, Thunder Bay Theater in Alpena announced their 2020 Holiday Cabaret this week in virtual format, of course. The theater invites people to stay home, safe, and cozy while streaming their virtual Holiday Cabaret this year. The cabaret will be available online at the theater's website or on their Facebook page Thursday at 8 p.m. There's a suggested $10 donation, with all proceeds going to the theater's Fire Relief Fund. The theater suffered smoke and water damage this July after the building next door caught fire. Donations can be made at thunderbaytheater.com/donate or by texting Fire Relief to 26989.
Well, let's mask up is the message one employee at Alpena Community College wants to reinforce to the community. ACC's communications technician Jess Hoslin says Alpena County reached out to the college asking them to help produce a joint video stressing the importance of taking COVID-19 seriously. She says when Mark Hall from Alpena County contacted them, she was eager to be on board. Hoslin stresses the importance of working together by masking up.
It's not just about you. You need to think about the people around you and others. And so just because I'm ill and this might not personally affect me as much, it doesn't mean that it wouldn't affect someone else. And so you really just have to remember that we're a rural community. We don't have the same resources that some of the larger areas have.
Hoslin's video included interviews from those at Mid-Michigan, EMS, Alpena Fire, CRTC, ACC, and more. The video stresses the importance of masking up and how frontline workers shouldn't be the only ones doing their part.
COVID-19 has been in our lives about 9 to 10 months now, and it's taking a big strain on all of us.
Really, this is your opportunity to be a hero.
I see what our frontline healthcare workers are doing on a daily basis, but we can't expect that they can win this battle for us alone.
While mask wearing is not something that many local small and big businesses strictly enforce, Haslin urges mask wearing. She says we're all in this together, and together we can work toward reducing the COVID-19 numbers. Well, President-elect Joe Biden is expected to nominate former Michigan Governor Jennifer Granholm to lead the Department of Energy. After her term as Michigan's Attorney General, Granholm served as Michigan's first female governor from 2003 through 2011. She was a member of President Obama's transition team in 2009. President-elect Biden is nominating Granholm as his National Secretary of Energy beginning in January. If confirmed by the Senate, Biden will have 9 women serving in his cabinet, breaking President Obama and Clinton's records of most women to serve in a single U.S. cabinet.
Governor Whitmer had a special guest from the North Pole at her latest virtual meeting to send a cute message to kids this holiday season.
Hi, Santa.
Yes, that is Santa Claus. He joined Whitmer and kids across Michigan on a Zoom call to take questions and assure families that he and his elves have been following COVID protocols and have all tested negative before their big day.
Wash our hands. What I would suggest to do is what the governor is telling all the people of the great state of Michigan to do. Social distance, wash your hands, and make sure you wear your mask when you're outside your home.
Well, kids, be sure to leave out your cookies, milk, and now hand sanitizer for Santa before he goes to the next house.
Such a cute story. Well, there's more news ahead for you here on WBKB. Coming up, we'll tell you why you may spend less time at the Secretary of State's office next year.
And welcome back. Here's meteorologist Ellie Morrison with a first check of the weather. Ellie, when is all this snow going away?
Yeah, Tyler, over the next few days, all of the snow really not going to melt too much with these relatively cool temperatures that we have, about normal for the middle of December. We'll have to watch what happens Saturday and Monday. That's the 2 days that we have our warmest temperatures in the forecast. Currently, we are seeing a couple of light flurries that have been dissipating over Iosco and Ogama counties. Cloudy in Alpena at 27 degrees. It's cloudy 28 degrees in Oscoda and Rogers City, cloudy and 28 degrees. We will still keep a chance of some flurries in the forecast tonight and into much of the day tomorrow, but much like today, it's going to be really hit and miss. Some patchy light flurries out there, but not much stacking up on the roadways. I'll let you know when some drier weather and warmer temperatures will move in coming up later in the newscast.
Thanks for that, Ellie. Well, come next spring, Michiganders will spend less time at the Secretary of State's office thanks to more self-serve kiosks and expanded online options. The Secretary of State's office says Michiganders will have more ways to do business, including renewing driver's licenses, ID cards, and requesting personal driving records. Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson says this is another way the department is continuously improving the customer experience. The new options will be available come March 2021.
And that's good news.
Yeah.
And health news, how the sound of birds can boost our well-being, plus the challenges of vaccinating the world against COVID-19. Naomi Ruckham has some of the day's top health stories.
3.7 billion adults worldwide are willing to have a COVID-19 vaccine, according to a study in the BMJ. But researchers say nearly a quarter of the world's population may not have access until at least 2022. Fewer doses are earmarked for lower and middle income countries, and access in those regions is uncertain. Taking care of your heart could lower the odds of developing dementia. A study in Finland looked at behaviors for cardiovascular health in midlife, including smoking and exercise. The patients with better scores had a lower risk of dementia later in life. And a walk in nature is good for your mental health, especially if it includes the sound of birds singing. Researchers in California interviewed hikers as they passed through nature trails. Those who heard birdsong reported a greater sense of well-being. Those are some of the day's top health stories. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News, New York.
I kind of want to take a nice scenic hike after watching that, too.
Absolutely. Well, coming up on WBKB News, Ellie Morrison is next with your 7-day forecast, plus the photo of the day. Stay tuned.
Into Tuesday, highs in the lower 30s, a chance of snow showers next Wednesday with highs in the lower 30s. And today's photo was sent in by April Halleck. We see a sunrise filled with cotton candy colors over the Blair Street Pier from last week. Thank you, April, for sending us this photo. If you have a photo such as nature shots, pics with friends, or interesting sights you see that you'd like to send us, email it along with a short description to news@wbkb11.com.
Now, Ellie, you might not be the guy for this question, but what does that Jupiter-Saturn stuff mean for my horoscope?
Honestly, I don't pay too much attention to that, so like you indicated, I am not the go-to person for horoscopes. But in terms of astronomical events, the fact that this was last seen 796 years ago. Now, it actually happened one time since then, but it was too close to the sun and we couldn't see it. So the last time that we were able to see Jupiter and Saturn this close together, almost 800 years ago.
That's actually insane. And don't go anywhere. Your sports updates are coming up next. But first, we're going to kick it to Jake for a quick preview. Jake?
Tyler, I announced Tuesday we had 2 area players that made All-State offensive team for Division 8. Today, we'll talk defense. More on that. Plus, one offensive lineman from the Lions has a very rare injury that you never thought was possible. Well, now I know it's possible. I'll let you know, and what that injury is up next in sports.
And welcome back. A familiar face returns to the hit CBS show Mom, and Hilary Swank has a fatal attraction in her upcoming thriller Fatale. Nichelle Medina has those stories and more in today's Eye on Entertainment.
It's a game of cat and mouse in the psychological thriller Fatale, starring Hilary Swank.
You are one very convincing liar.
The film follows Michael Ealy as Derek, a married man who was tricked into a murder scheme by a female detective played by Swank. As he tries to save himself, he falls into a trap, risking his family, career, and his life.
You start to watch him lose it all and you get to see kind of what he's made of at that point.
Fatale hits theaters Friday. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are joining the podcast world. The couple signed a multi-year deal with Spotify. Together, they plan to host and produce podcasts. The venture comes on the heels of their deal with Netflix to produce films, scripted shows, and children's programming. Their first podcast series is expected to premiere next year.
I like what you've done with the place.
And Kevin Pollak makes a surprise visit to the hit CBS show Mom. He returns as Alvin, Bonnie's ex, who turns up in her living room nearly 6 years after his sudden death. Watch the fall finale of Mom Thursday night on CBS. That's your Eye on Entertainment. Nichelle Medina, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Knowing I've turned into a mess.
And you can read more about our broadcast stories and get the scoop on other news items online.
Just visit WBKB11.com for sports, weather, and news updates anytime, day or night.
Or be sure to check us out on our Facebook page and Twitter handle @WBKB11.
And that's all we have for you this evening. Be sure to catch us back here tonight at 11 for more. Have a great evening.